Right then, hello and welcome to day 2 at Thorpe Park. And as you can see, I'm going to start with a ride on Storm Surge, which is actually my first time going on here. Now I feel like I'm going to get quite wet, possibly, I don't know. It also gets a really long queue really quick. It doesn't look that bad at the moment, but because I'm staying in the hotel I've got fast track for the first 2 hours, apart from Hyperia. I might have said yesterday that I wanted a Hyperia as part of the fast track. I completely forgot, it's not on there. That's fine, it's got single rider that's run really well, so I don't mind that. If you stay in the Hyperia room, which is really expensive, you get a fast track, but it's just a standard room with a picture of Hyperia in, so it's not really worth it when it's got single rider. It's just for the fast track. So yeah, Storm Surge. This is a rapids kind of. It's quite unique, really. It's like a rapids and a dinghy slide. It's the definition of rubber dinghy rapids. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to do this, and then I'll probably head into something else. I need to get back on stealth. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but I will do that probably twice again today. My favourite ride here, and yeah. I stand by that still. It's my baby, and I'm going to get the resin later as well. Right then, just got off of Storm Surge. I kind of, yeah, I used the fast track, and because it's first thing, it only had a 5-minute queue, which was I looked a bit stupid there, I think. Just using fast track for the sake of having it unlimited for the first 2 hours. But yeah, I did get quite wet. There's a lot of hose pipe sprays. The waterfall does switch off as you go underneath it. It's like Valhalla's and River Caves. But I didn't get that way off the drop either. It is a weird sensation because they are literally rubber dinghies. So you do kind of feel it bending a bit as you go around the layout. But yeah, it's good fun. It's got a good pace into it. You spin quite a lot. And yeah, it's genuinely better than most UK rapids. They have got Rumba Rapids here, which is a traditional sort of terrain-based one. But like travelling rapids get you slightly more wet. But I mean, the Fantasy Island one, I didn't get wet at all. So yeah, this is genuinely better than. It's just a shame about the throughput because it takes ages to get people on and off, which is especially getting off. You wait ages. But yeah, a good fun ride at the end of the day. Right now, I've just done Rush. To be honest, I'm quite disappointed. I knew it was a short cycle, but it's about 2 swings and it's over. And that's the thing, like, it's a great fun ride. You do get some good force and some good like wind pushing on you there. I was on the side like this at the moment. What you can see is the left-hand side B. This is apparently the one that swings a little bit higher, so I'm trying to get on that one. But yeah, honestly, I'm glad I didn't queue like half an hour for this yesterday because it's about 40 seconds and it's done. And as soon as I started really getting into the swing of it as such, and started enjoying it properly, and being like, oh okay, it's picked up. It does get going fairly quick, but then it takes a while to get to full height. And then it was like as soon as I started getting into it, it was over. So yeah, I'd definitely like to do one of these with a longer cycle. Yeah. I think Blackpool could probably do one of these actually. It'd probably work quite well there. But yeah, I'm going to do Colossus now. Yeah, so I've just had quite a few rides. So after Rush, I did Colossus, which was it was good. It was, you know what, I've actually greyed out on a couple of the coasters here today. They're really seem to be more intense than yesterday. Colossus, I was near the back though. And yeah, I tend to notice when I grey out, it's not on the forceful element. Because that forceful element is normally followed by a tall element, and as I'm going up into the taller, it's the change from high force to hang time, I think. So like, the blood in your head doesn't know where to go, so it's kind of, you grey out a bit. But yeah, Colossus was great, quite intense, but even on the back, I don't find it rough at all. Right, and then, this is looking a bit tired round here. Could do with putting something there, just extending the shot. Yeah, then I did Samurai, which was great again. Not quite as good as yesterday. I think the cycle was different because it didn't hold at the top. I don't know if it was necessarily shorter, but it didn't do as many different things. But it's still a great flat ride, still a good whip on there, and it still had some moments where I really felt like I was flying. Which is great. It's interesting on there, yeah. You really sort of soar through, and it's so smooth. It's, yeah, as you're flying over Soar and Hyperia, it's great. And then I did Swarm, which was really intense. Sort of in the middle on there, but yeah, I'll grade out a few moments. That's the most intense ride I've had so far today. But it's still great coaster, like, yeah, you know, it's forceful. That just shows it's forceful, really. And it's got some good fast-paced moments on there. And yeah, it's silky smooth. And then I just did Inferno again, silky smooth. It's gone half the queues, half as long as it was just, but I've got fast track. Yeah, so I'm going to try and get to stealth as quick as possible. Yeah, that was good. It wasn't as intense as yesterday, which was weird. I was on the back though, but I think it's because it was running faster because it had warmed up over the day yesterday. But yeah, I do still prefer Nemesis on the back. Nemesis Reborn on the back is the best experience I've ever had on a UK coaster. Like, yeah, properly forceful on the helix and everything. It is just magic. And that's John Wardley. This is John Wardley as well, but it's not quite as innovative as Nemesis. I think just because of the location and, you know, because it was the second one in the UK, it was never going to stand out as much. But it's still a great ride, and I do find it smoother. And I think it always was, to be fair. Nemesis is never rough, but Nemesis is just sharper. And it doesn't, I don't find the rattle that bad, but it is there. It's quite subtle for me, but I do notice that is smoother. But anyway, waiting for this for a while. Let's get back on my baby. It's stealth. Which I'm going to literally, like I said, I was going to get here as quick as possible because my fast track runs out in about 10 minutes. So I shot it's only on 25 anyway, but let's make the most of this final fast track. Hey, the music round it's my favourite soundtrack of the park, just because it's just songs, you know, catchy 50s and 60s songs. Fast track, I was used to going down the main one. Anyway, let's get on my baby. Oh wow. Again, this is phenomenal. You sort of, but I can describe the launch sensation. It's kind of like forwards airtime. It's just like a pressure on your stomach, but it's kind of more tingly. Yeah, I did get that time, and yeah, but I didn't really grey out on it, or at least I didn't really notice it that much. Yeah, again, this thing is incredible, and I thought people would hate me for preferring this to Hyperia, but it's such a different ride that it really comes down to personal preference of like what type of ride you prefer, rather than like which one does a better job, because they do just as good of a job at what they're supposed to be doing. It's just that this is more the kind of ride that I prefer, you know. It's just incredible, honestly. My baby. It's my number 3 coaster of all time. I'm always going to have a special place for having something this unique in the UK. The fact these are a bit of a dying breed now, make the most of this. And Rita, actually. No, Rita's nowhere near as good, but I'm still lucky to have that in my local park. So, or one of my local parks. Drayton Manor's my local. But yeah, you know, I do make the most of Rita, but This is way better. It is quite different though, and it's a lot smooth. It is a little bit rattly, like I said, but it is a lot smoother. Rita, I did bang my head a few times the last time. I don't remember doing that the first time, but yeah, it's not unbearable. But I do have quite a high tolerance, but it's not as bad as other rides. It's just a little bit, you know, the train jerks from side to side, and you notice it more on Rita because the whippy turns and stuff and the overbanks, whereas this is quite a straight track, so you don't really notice it that much. But still, I think it is still smoother. It's just perfect. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it's a type of coaster that I really like. Right then, The Walking Dead the ride, and finally, I've done it with actors. So yeah, I think there were a couple of actors in there. Just in like the bigger room, which as soon as you get off the road, there's basically quite a big open room. There's like a truck and stuff. It's supposed to look like, I think, a truck's crashed into like a cafe. And there were a couple of actors. One of them, I'm pretty sure, was the one off the Ghost train, one of the actors off the Ghost train yesterday. I'm sure there was another actor in there as well. Because the strobe lights and they're sort of getting up, they don't really get up in your face, but they are sort of, you know, they're, well, acting supernatural, I guess. You know, they're sort of contorting around, and they are sort of getting in your face and telling you about, you know, the disease of being turned into a zombie and stuff, and trying to avoid them. I think they're supposed to be people just turning into zombies. So yeah, but it's good. It's not really intense because, you know, I mean, it is limited to how many actors. Apparently there was one outside yesterday. I didn't see them. Apparently just taking photos with people. But yeah, having, you know, like I said, I'm pretty sure there was a couple. One of them, I'm sure, was following the group, because I looked behind and I could see someone following, like, people really screaming in the exit corridor, and then only those people came out and the person behind didn't, so I'm pretty sure that was an actor following them, which would make sense. I guess they were like jump scaring the people behind, like at the back of the group, but because of how tight the corridors were, you're not getting jump scared if you're at the front of the group, and I was sort of just in front of the back of the group, so it wasn't quite, you know, I wasn't quite getting all the jump scares in the end, but I think the actor was having fun with those people because they were genuinely kind of on edge, you know, and I was a little bit, because I didn't know what to expect with the actors. It's always the thing, but I'm glad there's actors in here. They've just put the sign outside, and I thought, yeah, if they've just put that sign there, it probably means the actors have just got in there and it's the right time to do it. And yeah, the actors are in there, so it's not, there's not loads of actors, but again, they are limited, and they're only in a certain time. But yeah, the one who's in the Ghost train was good. But it's good to just finally do it and see what it's like with them, really. I imagine it had more when it opened, but I'm glad that they still do that, even with the entertainment cuts, you know, that here they still do it. Subterra doesn't have any actors at all anymore, it doesn't seem. Or it has one, maybe, from what I remember doing it. But at least they've still got the two dark rides here with the actors in, which is good. And to be fair, this is my equivalent at Thorpe Park of Curse Alton Manor. The dark ride that I just keep... It's nowhere near as good, but it's a dark ride that I just keep going back on. You know, I know some people wouldn't even class it as a dark ride, but yeah. And there's Inferno. And there we go, I've just come out of the final dark ride I need to do here, which is the Sunset Cinema, here in the other new themed area for last year, which was Big Easy Boulevard. This was obviously a re-theme of Angry Birds Land, which, to be fair, I liked it. You know, I did like it. I liked Angry Birds, but I don't think it was relevant anymore. And yeah, the film, basically all I remember is that they used the seat movement for the catapults in Angry Birds. I don't think there was much of a storyline to it. I think it was just kind of Angry Birds the game, basically. I do think this is an improvement. It feels like a longer film, from what I remember. The last one, and yeah, it's basically, it starts out like the film. So if you've seen the film, you will have more context. Although I haven't seen the film since it came out, and that was like 8 years ago now, I think. Yeah, it's Ready Player One. I didn't mention that. So it's basically a VR themed film. It was when VR was like a new thing. So yeah, it's interesting that they've had this film on for 2 years now. They were putting this QR code. I have scanned it. I'll go onto it after and fill out the form. basically they're suggesting like new films for the future, so I wonder if they'll change it next year. I know at Fright Nights last year they did it as a 4D experience. I'm not sure if they'll do that again this year. But yeah, it's basically the same as the intro's the same as the film, just summarised. There's a VR world that's basically like immerses you out of the real world after a bit of an apocalypse. So it's the race is what the main 4D element is. So you're just racing. You've got like interactions with the dinosaur and King Kong and stuff, and then he doesn't win the race, so you've got to go back round and ends up finding a secret way to go underground and into this sort of neon light vortex. It's a little bit of an odd storyline. I don't think that bit was in the film. I think they have taken the intro and just added that bit on, so it makes its own little mini storyline. It's a little bit of a mess in places, but then it is VR, so it's supposed to be like anything's possible, really. Yeah, so the seats move. Now, I did say when I did The Guardian, I wasn't a massive fan of the lack of subtle movements. This doesn't move, apart from the really jerky moments, but I don't mind because the seats are only built to launch you backwards and forwards at varying intensities. So, and that was obviously used on Angry Birds for the catapults. It kind of works because you are only doing it at those moments, whereas on The Guardian, it just moves randomly at certain points, and it just doesn't really work. You know, that can move a lot more, whereas this, it's supposed to be the film. I don't think the 3D effect is really necessary on this, though. I did keep the glasses, because you're supposed to throw them away, but I'll keep them, because then I can reuse them again, because I'll always put them on my shelf, so I know where they are. It's better that than, you know, throwing them in the... I mean, I'm sure they're recyclable, that'd be good. But yeah, so the seats, yeah, because they only move at very specific and the most intense times. They're not really intense, but you do move quite a bit, and it is quite fun when you move. But yeah, because it's only at the moments where it's at the most movement on the screen, it works a lot better for me. There's quite a few good water effects. The water cannons are really strong on there. There's also a lot of smoke machines with like lighting behind them, which looks really good, like green smoke effect. There's leg ticklers, which are great. Again, like very noticeable. And there's also air cannons that are they're not like Nemesis Subterra where you can't breathe. They are nice just to get the breeze in your face, like the ones on Curse Alton Manor, basically. So yeah, great 4D. It's great to tick off all the dark rides. Now I think I'm going to do Saw, and I've just noticed it's just stopped raining as well. I might do Saw, I might do Ghost Train. It's quieter today than it was yesterday. People always say that the weekdays are busier than Sundays, but to be honest, it's been quieter today than yesterday. I think maybe because people are at work, and the Merlin parks have just been quieter this year anyway, for reasons that I don't really want to go into that much depth, but you can probably research it, really. Right then, so it's time for depth charge, and I've just bought 2 resins and a Thorpe Park Bear, which it's the older logo. I'm not sure if it is actually an older piece of merch, or if they're using like the emblem, because it doesn't say, it's just the infinity symbol without Thorpe Park written in it. So I don't know if they're just using that emblem as branding, and it's not. But then they are a lot cheaper than the other bears and stuff, so I don't know. But I prefer the colour scheme, because I haven't got a bright blue bear like that, and that's the colours I associate with Thorpe Park still. So yeah, I'm going to do depth charge, because this doesn't... I think this is the queue, the main entrance. Yeah. Oh, this isn't even the... Okay. Yeah, I've never done this before. I just haven't bothered, because it's such a standard ride for a world-class park that I've never really bothered, but it's here. I've done everything else. Do this, and 20 minutes, it's not going to get any shorter than that now, is it really? I'm going to do Hyperia again a couple of times, probably. Because yeah, it is great, it is really good. It's the most intense ride here, and I might do Detonator finally, because I've been looking at it. I've got to do it, because I'm going to West Midlands Safari Park in a few weeks, and they've got a really intense drop tower. Same as this, but apparently it's a little bit more intense. so I've got to do this to build up for it. Right then, here we go. Right then, I've just done depth charge. That was quite a long queue. It was exactly 20 minutes, I'd say, and it said it on the board. Yeah, it's a standard water slide. I did feel it lift up off the trough of the first drop though. Yeah, it's got the 4 slides. At first I thought they were only running 3, but no, they are running all of them. It's just that, you know, if you've got like 4 people on their own, you can only get 4 people on there at the same time. So it's just, yeah, it takes a while. Like the maximum is 8. You can get 2 people per boat. Now luckily it's not a no single rider thing, because otherwise I couldn't have done it. It was like, the one at Pleasurewood Hills is like that. That's the only one I've known though, which is odd because it's the exact same ride time. So now I need to get on Hyperia. I haven't done it today. So, right. Yeah, I'm just going to go straight over there to be honest. I was going to maybe do Detonator, but maybe I'll fit that in. I just need to do Hyperia to be honest. Yeah. Right then. So, that is again the best ride I've had on it. I didn't find... obviously I always grey out on this. It's just the different types of force basically. Different people grey out at different things. But honestly, it was just as intense as yesterday, like when I did it on the evening. But I didn't grey out. It was only that first inversion. But yeah, like, I think I still prefer the sensation on the launch on Stealth. But that feels like something I want to go back on a lot more often now. Because at first it was good, but it was just different to what I was expecting. Whereas now I know what to expect, I can appreciate it a lot more. It is almost there next to Stealth. It's still not as good, I don't think. And Nemesis and Icon are too special to me. I don't think they'll ever get beaten, to be honest. But yeah, great ride. Yeah. That is genuinely, I can appreciate it a lot more after that ride now. Yeah, it was fun and intense in the right ways. I mean, it was yesterday. Like I said, Stealth, my way of having fun kind of thing. I just like launch coasters sort of more. But yeah, it's definitely it's got more chance of competing with Stealth. Speaking of Stealth, I'm genuinely tempted to have a ride on there right now. Do I? I don't know. I might do Soar actually, although that's back that way. I'll check the queues and I'll see. I'll stand around here so I don't have to walk too far. Yeah, I'm going to do Soar just to switch it up a little bit. But yeah, Stealth's my groove, including the soundtrack. Dear me. But yeah, the airtime on this was better because I was on the back. I didn't even mention that. I was on the non-wheel seat, which is obviously going to be it is smooth anyway, but it's slightly smoother on the knob. That's just something with every coaster. But yeah, it is incredible. I can really appreciate why people love it. I can right. Yeah, I just new fans possibly. My voice cracked like early Sean then. Right. Soar's on 25 minutes, so single rider should be absolutely nothing. And I thought I'd change it up because I've done that twice. I've done Stealth 3 times. I've done Stealth 3 times. Soar I've only done twice, as in like overall every time I visited this park. Yeah. And what I found out earlier as well from doing Walking Dead, which is now my most ridden ride at Thorpe Park. I love dart rides, and that's the best dart ride here. I've now ridden it as many times as the Smiler, so if I ride Walking Dead again, I'll have been on Walking Dead more than the Smiler officially. It's because I tend to go to different parks rather than like, because some people will go to the same parks quite often, and they'll just do a different park like every few years, like different parks that aren't like well known. They'll do them every few years, or like once a year, and then they'll do these multiple times a year. Because I don't do that, I tend to go to smaller places a lot more often. It means that I haven't ridden a lot of big coasters, well-known ones, that many times. However, yeah, you know, even though I go to Alton Towers a lot, considered, well, twice a year, which some people go more than that, but you know, I think my most ridden ride is probably the snails at Joyland, and then Terrily and Tub Twist, because I've pretty much ridden them roughly the same amount of times. I think I've just done the snails more than straight on single rider. I should be. Yeah, it looks a bit temporary, this, but I think hopefully they'll get some fencing at some point. Yeah, I thought I'd get a bit of footage of the queue line, because it is quite well filmed. I've never done it for queue filming before. Yeah, this is why you do single rider. If you don't mind being split up from a group, anyway. Yeah, hope I'm on the second car, and I hope the audio's working better this time. There we go, I just saw. Again, I was on the back of the car, on the wheel seat, completely fine. I always get the wrong side, though, for the water spray, which is a shame. I never got on the... because you need to be on the right-hand side of the train to get the water spray, and I never seem to get it. But yeah, again, it's good. It's really forceful, and I do slightly grey out on some of the elements. It's whippy. It is a little bit rattly at the bottom of some of the drops, and there's a bit of a jolt at the end. But I don't find it rough. I think it's just that the turns are really sharp. But that's not because of the coaster aging. That's just because of the track profiling that was always there. I think you just need to brace yourself, and I always lean forward, which tends to work. I know that they sort of say don't, but I always end up leaning forward and it seems to work. But yeah, the drop, it does get you because of the way it just flicks you over the... you know, it's not like you holding or anything. In a way, it's more intense than Oblivion because of that. Because you're on there, you hold before the drop, whereas on this, you're just up. Especially on your back row, and you can't see the edge, you're just down. But it was great to get back on there again. I do enjoy that coaster. I don't really get the hate for it. It is hard to decide whether I prefer that or Colossus, because Colossus is longer and probably more forceful, but Soar's just got a more abrupt layout, which I quite like, and the pacing. Well, the pacing's good on both of them actually. The pacing on Colossus is better than Sick, because once you're down that drop, it never really slows down, which I really like. So, but yeah, I don't know what, I might end up doing Quantum next. I'm not sure. I need to check the time. There we go, I can get a bit of the exit here. Yeah, I've just done a couple of rides actually. I did Quantum, which is good. It's got some good airtime to it, and some surprising force. That's actually my second favourite flat ride here now after Samurai. I think Rush, yeah, it's disappointing. In fact, I think Mr. Monkey's banana ride is better than Rush because the cycle's longer and it's doing its job better. Then obviously Rush, and then yeah, Vortex. I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't like it. It's the end of the cycle. It's weird. I don't know if it's something to do with facing inward, but yeah. But yeah, I've just done Soar again. It was a little bit rough at that time. I was on the front of the car though, so the view of the lift hill was better. And yeah, it was sort of vibrating side to side. It's more like my arms that get bashed on the restraint, but I don't know if that's just because I hold on to the handlebars. That's just what I naturally do. So it's more my arms that get bashed on here. I don't get a headache. I don't bang my head on the restraint. It's just, I know how to brace for it, but I think it's probably some of the shaking side to side is from age of the coaster. I mean, it's only 16, but I think that is from the age of it. But a lot of the stuff that you need to brace for is just the transitions that were built on the ride, like I said. But yeah, also I noticed that like they'd painted the spikes and the axes with UV. I don't know if that was always the case, but the drop was lit up purple this time, so I could actually see it, and you can see it is near vertical. I do like it when you can't see it though, because everyone gets surprised by it, and like I was surprised by it the first time how steep it is. But yeah, and you've got air cannons and stuff in there as well in the tunnels on the brakes. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to check the queue for Ghost Train, because that'll be, I haven't done that today, and obviously that's different every time. I didn't say it in my yesterday's video. I actually got picked out. They were like pointed at me and said, and we were saying like, oh yes, the evil one, like using all of their power to improve our like or to combat our sort of supernatural powers. It was something like that. But yeah, it was like in the latter half when the train drivers and stuff are possessed. So yeah, but I'm going to check out that again because I want to do it again. I've done Walking Dead so many times. I haven't done Ghost Train. I've only done it once. Right there, just done Colossus again, and yeah, it doesn't change too much for me. I think the only reason I found it more intense this morning was because I was just like getting into rides again in the morning. I think that was the only reason. The pacing on it is so good. It does have some good sustained force. John Wardley's good at that, I tell you. Like, this was obviously only 8 years after the original Nemesis, so yeah, it's definitely got that sustained force at the beginning, similar to Nemesis. It's also a terrain coaster, kind of. You know, obviously some of the elements aren't, but the first section is quite terrain based. But yeah, it's good. I was on a non-wheel seat this time, near the back, because I was on the back, the second from the back car on the wheel seat last time, and I found it smoother this morning, which is weird. Although it wasn't like rough. My head did touch the restraint, but it wasn't like I didn't bang my head on it. Apparently this is smoother in the summer, so maybe that's why, because of the time of year I've come. But I can tell you, like, you might be put off going into places in the summer, but this has been quiet. Like, I got on, I think, if I counted right, 17 rides yesterday. I don't know how many I've done today, because I'll probably tally it up at the end. But yeah, like, this is what this is what parks should be like in the summer, and I think it's because people have given up their Merlin passes and it's put them off going to these parks. I think that's what it is. I mean, I enjoy coming to places every few times in a year. Like, in terms of Merlin Park visits, this is like technically my 5th day, although obviously Chessington Day 2 was just included in the event. So in terms of normal park days, it's you know, I have 1 day at Alton Towers, technically 1 day at Chessington, and then 2 days at Thorpe. Hopefully I'll go back to Alton Towers for Scarefest, because I want to check up on my my friend Barry in Amigos in the Afterlife. But yeah, I can't believe Scarefest's next month. That's really scary. That's the scariest thing, how quick the year's gone. Not Tiny or the Phalanx, but yeah, anyway, I think I'm going to do the Swarm because it's only on 10 minutes, and I might just stealth again because I'm in love with stealth. Right, yeah, I've just got off the Swarm, and yeah, that was running. I enjoyed it a lot more. I was on the second row, on the outer wing, like the one that's on the outside on there, the right hand side. Yeah, I didn't grey out on the drop bit. Well, it's not. I think the reason I grey out, it's not necessarily from the G-force. It's from the change in hang time to G-force and the other way around. I think that's what it is. But yeah, it was only, I think it was going up into the corkscrew that got me that time. Yeah, it is a good consistent paced ride. You know, again, it's just, there's a lot of those like John Wardley coasters basically, where, you know, you can really notice during his era there's a lot of those sort of, you know, because we're always meant to really reliable manufacturers that build really smooth rides, and you know, you have a lot of fast pacing which sustains the G-force. But on this there's a few slower moments, but they're still fast paced, they just don't have as much sustained force on them. But you know, you need a breather sometimes. Like Nemesis keeps the pacing, but the G-force gradually gets lower and lower, which is, you know, makes it bearable for you to ride, and for most people, because most people, you know, the average G-force tolerance isn't going to be really high for a long period of time. So yeah, but yeah, the theming is nice. This is the area that's looking tired. Look at the billboard. I know it's supposed to look like it's destroyed, but it is peeling away like it's not supposed to look like it's peeling off. The fire engine needs a jet wash. The plane, look at this. You know, this is the best themed area at the park, and it does need some theming and TLC. Like, yeah, it's great, but yeah, it's more immersive because it should be a flat ride round here. Because the fact that this is on its own, I mean, it does make it more immersive because it's just tied to itself, kind of thing. But yeah, it's a great coaster. Yeah, really enjoy that. Right then, so I've just done a couple more re-rides. I've just come off of Nemesis Inferno. Actually, not re-rise. I did Rumba Rapids. I have been on it before last time I came, but yeah, first time this time. To be honest, I only got a few drops of water on there, but it is good that the waterfalls are running. You know, it's a sort of standard Intamin Rapids, really. It's more about the little drops and things that you get a bit of sensation on, but it's not really wet or anything. It's like a water ride. It's not that great, but it's a good fun ride. It's capacity. It never gets a long queue. It was only about 10 minutes. And then I just did Inferno, which again, really good B&M invert. I got on row 6 that time. I was on the back earlier, and yeah, it was decent. You know, it's still not as good as the original Nemesis, but it was just enjoyable. You know, the pacing is good on there. I always say it's like the inverse of Nemesis. But yeah, I've done it a couple of times this trip already, and this video is more of a sequel to yesterday's, you know. So yeah, obviously that's going to be, for some of the rides I've done, I'll probably go more in depth on my first experience in a while. But yeah, now I'm going on this, which I'm kind of terrified, but I'm definitely not doing the 3 kick challenge, which they still allow you to do. The drop is now on a timer though. It doesn't do the, you know, surprise drop anymore. But I've got to do it. You know, I'm going to Safari Park. I've got to do a drop tower. Right then. You know what? I genuinely enjoyed that. I was kind of thinking, I remember last time I did it, oh, it's gone down to 5 minutes. I waited about 10 minutes though. I don't think it was 15. Yeah, I genuinely just enjoyed it. I remember being terrified on it and then not having time to process it. It's the same with the one at Pleasurewood Hills. But you know what? I enjoyed the airtime on there, and at the force at the bottom. Yeah, like I genuinely just had a good time on there, which, you know, going on so nervous, but I think it's because I've done so many more rides over the years that I'm just used to this, and I can enjoy this sensation now. But yeah, Detonator, great. I think this is now my second favourite flat ride here. I think, well, to be fair, today I think I preferred this to Samurai, but if it's compared to yesterday's Samurai cycle, I like the alliteration, then Samurai was better, but I think on average this probably would be better, because this is going to be the same every time. Shame they can't do the surprise drop, and I think maybe that kind of, you know, maybe makes it less intense, but I just enjoyed the actual drop sensation, because I was still nervous for it, even with the countdown. I was like, oh, here we go. But you know what? Yeah, it's more re-rideable than I remembered it, because I think I would go on it again before, but it was like I didn't have time to process it, and every time I come off I'd be like, did I like that? But no, I genuinely like it now. Right then, so I'm back to the Hyperia for probably the last time. Yeah, the weather, it's not exactly took a turn for the worst. I don't know if there's some storm coming, I hope not. It doesn't feel like it, because otherwise they'd have shut every outdoor ride. Hyperia is running. It did get stuck on the lift hill, and then now it's back up and running again. Stealth has been shut for about an hour and a half. It has been testing though for the last half an hour, so hopefully I'll get on there. I'll try and rush over there as my last ride if it opens, because I know sometimes here, just to make sure everyone gets on as many rides as possible, they do actually test things till like the last half an hour or 25 minutes, just so it, you know, yeah, they do test things for a while just to make sure that they're, you know, so if they can open to the last half an hour, then yeah. But yeah, Saw is definitely down for the rest of the day, because they've shut the spinning blades off, and they shut the queue line because it went down. I think with that it was maybe because they were like, well, it's a bigger coaster, it takes more operators. Ghost Train's weird, it was on a 20-minute queue and they just shut it, and people were still going on there. I think maybe they shut that early just in case it breaks again, but I don't know why they don't just advertise the queue to close at a certain time. It's weird, but I'm going to get on Hyperia and then I'm going to see what's going on then. Good to Colossus and stuff it was on, that was on 5 minutes. Yeah, but it's definitely near the end of my visit. Got an hour left, and I have enjoyed these 2 days. The problem with this park though is that it was 3 years since last time I came. I really hope I can get here a lot sooner than that, because yeah, I mean, it's a shame really that my favourite ride's Stealth, because it's probably a ride that it's definitely not going to be here forever. I'm going to say that, because those ride types are being phased out all the time. So I want to try and make the most. That's why I was going to try and get a last ride on it, because I mean, I hope it hasn't been removed by the time I come again. But yeah, it definitely might not be here for a long time. You know, I think it'll probably last longer than Rita, hopefully. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But if it opens, if I see people on it, I'll make sure to get over there straight away, as soon as possible. But yeah, I mean, it stopped raining now. But anyway, on to Hyperia. And I have just done Walking Dead again, making it my most ridden ride at the park. I've done it 5 times now. And then I sort of wandered around for a bit, seeing what was open. I did Big Easy bumpers, that's it, the dodgems. That was good. People weren't following the one way around though, but none of the staff said anything. It's a bit chaotic, quite a short cycle, but the bumps are good on there. Standard dodgems, but it's filler at the end of the day. Right then, yeah, that was just like how it was yesterday. I was on the same seat as earlier actually. It's a lot more intense though. I greyed out properly on that element, but I think because I'm used to it now, it was fine. I can't believe it. When I was going up the lift hill, I saw that somehow had people on it, although it seems like it's gone down again because it's empty. But the blades are spinning, and I'm like, what? But I've heard that this park is good at getting things open, but I honestly thought they were like, they've given up on it and they'd shut it for the day, but apparently not. I mean, I don't think I'll get on it now because I think it has probably broken down. But the weather has improved, fingers crossed for Stealth. I think, well, it's definitely less than an hour now. I think it's probably 3/4 of an hour we got left, so maybe, just maybe. Right then, I've just done Ghost Train again. It was good. I think it was probably better this time. I think it was 2 different actors in there. I think there's 5 actors in total. You get like the one who plays the demon that's sort of awoken, that is possessing the other actors, and then you've obviously got the 2 nuns on the train if you've done it before. And the nuns, people say they don't work. I think the nuns are supposed to be, after like rewatching the pre-show, I think they're supposed to be the ones that were the believers, like the leaders of the believers who created the sort of conspiracy theory of bringing people back from the dead using the crypt. I think that was what it was, the idea. Yeah, it did break down, and we were just waiting. The actors were just stood there, and the operator, because there is a ride operator on with you in a costume, who's just supposed to be a ride operator. So there was sort of thumbs up at the security camera on the train for ages. But this isn't the most reliable ride system, because it's built by 3 manufacturers, and it's so unique, but it's also so hard to get parts for it and maintain it and stuff. So if it just breaks down for a few seconds, that is really likely to happen, to be honest. And I've used this ride system 3 times. Obviously I've only done it twice as Ghost Train, but I've used the ride system 3 times, and this is the first time it's broke down. But I imagine people who do it often, it's fine, you know, they keep the lighting going. We didn't get evacuated or have the lights come on or anything. It was just a little bit awkward for about 2 minutes. But yes, good experience. It is good dark ride. I think Walking Dead it's more re-rideable, that. But this, if you come every time you come to the park, it's definitely worth doing. A lot of people only do it once a year if they come here often. But yeah, I think, you know, because it's a long experience, but the actors in there are good. I found more jump scares this time as well, so that was good. And that is it for Thorpe Park. Yeah, the 2 days, and it's done. I don't think I've done as many rides as I did yesterday, because I did a lot of, you know, cramming in sort of short queues, but then at the same time, I have done a lot of things with single rider, and I had that fast track early in the morning, which I did 5 rides with, I think. So, yeah, it's definitely been really good. And I've genuinely enjoyed it. I love this park. I think it is my favourite Merlin park now. In terms of obviously making memories at these parks, I don't want to, not as in that saying, but in terms of like what special memories I've connected with parks. I think I would say Alton Towers is at the top. I wouldn't be as passionate if it wasn't for that park. I'm gonna have a special place. Chessington as well, obviously. This park, I haven't really made any specific memories of going here, but in terms of the theme park and the way that rides are operated and the way the staff are trained to operate the rides, this is the best. It doesn't have many dark rides, and I am a dark ride person. I love coasters. I do love coasters. When I get on a coaster, I'm like, yeah, that was amazing. But I love dark rides even more a lot of the time. And we don't have many good ones in the UK. It'd be lovely to see this park do a tracked dark ride. I don't think it'd suit a boat ride, unfortunately. You know, I'd love to see one. A horror boat ride would be fun. But it would be horror themed. That would fit with this park. I wouldn't mind that. But Ghost Train's there. It's really unique. But you need like a traditional ride where you go through scenes, or a madhouse. Imagine like a really intense madhouse that could have actors in and stuff. That'd still be good as well. I just think you need something more like that, because Alton Towers has got the balance with the dark rides, so it's really got something for everyone, apart from a boat ride with family orientated scenes. But even John Wardley really wants that to come to fruition because he loves them as much as I do, probably more because he's designed some. But yeah, so yeah, it's been great. Only thing, Stealth, I don't think reopened because it was still shut a minute before the park closed, and I don't think it reopened in between them. It is sad that it's not, you know, it's unlikely you're going to come here and it's going to have no downtime. It's understandable it's had like a couple of hours of downtime. So, yeah, hopefully it's open tomorrow. That's the main thing, that they get it sorted, you know, tomorrow, and it's open for people who are coming then, because it's incredible. It's my favourite ride, it's my baby. I've got the resin. I will, after this bit, I'll put a bit of me putting the resin in my collection and the plush and everything. But yeah, and obviously my first vlog had the on-ride photo collage as well. So what is it? It's like a slideshow basically. There is a word for it, but yeah, it's been fantastic. I can't fault it. Like I said, apart from Stealth being shut, but that's not really anyone's fault because that type of launch system isn't very reliable, unfortunately. And it just makes me sad that in like 10 years' time, it might not be here, because I know they could have a Spike, which I'd love Intamin to do one, not Zamperla, because that's another story about unreliability. But Intamin could do one, and then, but it's just fitting it next to the Swarm and Intamin of. They have done like things like Gold Rush, but they've never done a Spike coaster really like converted an accelerator. So it'd be interesting, but I'd rather them do that than get rid of it, because it's so special of a ride to me, and it's my favourite here, that this part wouldn't be the same without Stealth. I wouldn't enjoy it anywhere near as much, and that is sad because it is an older ride, and it is it's still popular and people still love it. But they don't make those rides. It is kind of obsolete in terms of the manufacturing world. So it's just one of them. I mean, you know, I'm looking to have Rita at my local, which is just a slightly less good version of the same ride type, you know. The layout's more low to the ground, but it is behind the trees, obviously, at Alton Towers I have to. So I hopefully get on that later in the year and enjoy another Intamin launch, because it will be lovely to get back on that. But yeah, it's like Nemesis Inferno, though I go on that and it's just not the same as original Nemesis. I feel like going on Rita, it's just not going to be the same as Stealth, but I'm just going to make the most of that kind of launch. Hopefully I'll be able to come here, you know, more frequent than 3 years, and get on all those rides. But anyway, I've been through all the ride reviews anyway, and that's it for Thorpe Park. I've got a couple more videos that I'm filming tomorrow. Not going to be as long, obviously, not quite the same as this, but I'm still looking forward to it. It's on the way back home, and I'm going to West Midlands Safari Park soon. There might be another video in between, it depends. I'm going somewhere that I may or may not film. But yeah, West Midlands Safari Park might be the one after that, but it might be something else, and then it'll be West Midlands Safari Park. But yeah, so I'll get to do another drop tower. I am looking forward to Venom, and obviously I love elephants, so I'm going to see the elephants there as well. That's the main thing. It is West Midlands Safari Park, not West Midlands Theme Park with animals. You know, So yeah, I am looking forward to seeing all the animals. I'll enjoy it. I haven't been for 10 years, and I'll enjoy it more now because I'm older. So yeah, but for Thorpe Park, that is it. Hopefully not for 3 years this time. Right then, so this is the end of the Thorpe Park video, and I just thought, like I always do now, put in when I'm getting my merch. Now I do actually have this. I did mention this on the video that I've got double Thorpe Park edition. Now this is basically what Double Tea Party is sponsored by, which is one of the only rides I haven't actually ridden at the park. This was included as part of the hotel room. You just get this. So I think I want to put it. I think if I put that up there, then I can put it here. Maybe. Yeah, I could put it just in front, I think. Yeah. I've put my resins up. There's Stealth. And then Swarm as well. Yeah, Stealth, I've heard some worrying things about it. Basically, it's been shut all day today. As well as Samurai. I don't know what... Samurai seemed to be running completely fine. I know it broke down when I first tried to do it, but... Yeah, Stealth's the one that worries me. It makes me sad because that park would lose its heart for me if they got rid of it. But I know that it hasn't got long left and it has loads of issues, and it makes me really sad that it's my favourite ride at the park and it's having all these issues. I mean, it is an older coaster type, it is obsolete in the, in manufacturing terms, but it's such an incredible feeling that you get on it. Make the most of it. I really hope that they can replace it with a spike, if Intamin does it like to Tatis, because, Zamperla did Top Thrill 2, and we all know how that went. I don't want them to mess with it. I think, they're a good manufacturer. I do like Zamperla, but they're just not suited for that, I don't think. So I think if Intamin themselves, it's just fitting it around the Swarm, that's the problem. But yeah, I really hope they can get this back as soon as possible, because Rita's just reopened, and then now Stealth shut. So I hope they're not alternating, that's what worries me. But yeah, I hope that soon they can be both up and running. I would sacrifice Rita for the parts for Stealth, genuinely, I love Rita, but I'd rather have Stealth open. But hopefully it's back open soon. As well as Samurai, obviously. And then I've also got these, which I'm just going to put here. These are the 3D glasses from Sunset Cinema. Keep them, because they basically tell you to throw them in the bin, but I don't think they're recyclable, because they just say throw any rubbish in the bin. So I'll put them there. And that's it for Thorpe Park. That's my merch. Got a bit extra. I've also got these. I've got 2 empty cans as well, of the Thorpe Hyperia and Swarm Lager, as well as my Vampire. The Vampire one's more of a prized possession, because that was only given out, I think, on that one day, or it was sold only around that time. These you've been able to get, I think, for a year at least, the Hyperia one. I might try and get a Toxicator one if I can. If they're still selling them. I'm not sure if they're still selling them, to be honest. We have just had a Scarefest update, though. It looks like we're getting a 13 maze. It also says 2 new attractions. I really hope one of them is replacing Daz, because it could be replacing something else, like Trick or Treat Town, maybe, or Burial Grounds, but I hope it's replacing Daz. But yeah, or it could just be a new scare zone, because I've always thought Haunted Hollow would make a good scare zone. It could just be an addition, and that'd be nice because it's free as well. But yeah, it's a shame I couldn't fit Stealth and Hex together, my 2 babies, but my Merlin babies anyway. And obviously Nemi. I've got Nemi there. That's my other baby. So yeah, I just need one of Icon, and then I've got all my top 3 coasters as resins. Icon, you can't get like a resin as such. You can get like a parkscape of it, and I'm not buying the 3D print model because they're just too expensive. I like them, but they're just too expensive, I think. I'd rather have a train model like that, really. But yeah. Oh, I need to put my bear up as well. Yeah, I'll put the bear up now. Yeah, so here we go. This is the Thorpe Park bear. Who can go on top of Chuck E. Cheese? Yeah, just next to Grandpa Donkey, Danny the Donkey. Yeah, and the bear is the older version of the logo. as well, which is quite interesting. They were selling them off for like less than half the price of the ones with the newer logo. To be honest, I prefer the colour scheme. I said that in the vlog just before I got off depth charge. I got into depth charge. I said, you know, I just prefer this logo and colour scheme anyway. So yeah, I'm glad to have the bear as an addition, and yeah, I'm kind of running out of space here, so yeah, I've got another bear to put up as well. So yeah,